What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So as you all know, today is indeed going to be Wednesday, which means the new summit is now live here at Motorfest. For this week, we're going to have the Red Fury Nitro there in Platinum, the Koenigsegg CCR in Gold. We're then going to have 150,000 bucks in silver, then 100,000 XP there in Bronze. Besides that, though, looking at the next summit here, everyone does know it's going to be the Extra 330 SC there. We're then going to have the Freedom Stars Nitro that's going to be in gold, 200,000 bucks, and then we're now going to have 10,000 spare parts instead of 5 that we normally see. Yay! That's going to make a difference. But looking at the summit here, guys, it's going to be a total of, I guess you could say this summit's going to be on the interesting side. Pretty much to say the least. Why do you ask? Well, we're going to have a speed trap where you're going to have to use a plane there. We're then going to have aerobatics, which is going to be the only one in the entire game, at least the only aerobatic skill, which you're going to have to use a plane because you can't do that in a car. We're then going to have an escape there, which is going to be with the GBR1. Moving over to the events, though, there is indeed going to be 2 helicopter events. I know how excited all of you guys are to see helicopters. I know you can't wait to do them. Am I right? We're then going to have a plane loan, which we all do know this is going to be the most likely Red Bull plane there. Over here, though, you're also going to be able to test drive the Jet in a Vehicle Loaned event. That's probably going to be fun for a lot of people being able to use it. I really do wish we could actually get some more events to use the Jet in instead of the same events we've had since launch, but I don't really see that happening. We're then going to have the Waco aircraft event, and then finally the last event, which is going to be the Queen Bee located here. It is overall going to be an interesting summit. I do know for a fact nobody is going to like the helicopter. Can't really blame people on that one, but besides that, guys, we're going to have an escape here. We then have a bullseye and a slalom. Then the entire summit is going to be based on the hypercars. In fact, for the entire summit, besides this event here, you can use a Koenigsegg basically on every single one of them. For the escape here, you're going to have to use a hypercar. Now, I purposely did kind of bad on this one. I didn't take the best route. Now, keep in mind, guys, as I normally do with basically every summit in this game, I'm not going to be using part sets or pro settings on any vehicle. So for the escape here, I did end up using the Porsche 919 Street. With this, I did end up using a loot digger set, which y'all do know is not going to help that much. And no, I was not using pure and something like frenetic or extra pump. I also had lucky and stuff like that on the part set. So yeah, probably isn't going to help all that much. But I still got around 5,700 yards, 139,000 points. I would say that's most likely going to be good enough with the platinum reward being a nitro. We are then after that going to have a bullseye. Luckily for this one, you can use a ground vehicle for the entire thing. We all do know the Alpha GP is easily going to be the quote-unquote meta for basically any ground type of skill, because we all do know how great these are going to be, like a slalom, a bullseye, and stuff. I did end up seeing that here, and guess what I did? You probably guessed it. I did not use an Alpha GP because I'm trying to make these more entertaining, and well, a motocross bike got around 150,000. I could probably get a bit more if I most likely turned around and went toward the objective starting there, but to be honest, I just did not really see a point of doing that. We're then going to have a slalom here, which is going to be with the Koenigsegg Jesko, tomato. Let me know in the comments how you actually pronounce it, because I see so many different ways to do it. But with this one, though, no, you guys do not even need a score breaker on this. I legitimately ran a chemist set with skilled on every single stat. I got 157,830 points, bro. Legit 9 points from the world record there. So no, you do not have to have a score breaker on this one at all. And no, I also did not get a head start. Legit started the skill and basically just went as fast as I could and got every objective done. Kind of funny how you don't even need a score breaker half the time. For the event loan, though, you are going to have to use the Koenigsegg Jesko or Jesko again. For this, I got a minute and 43. Legit my first run on it. I'm probably not going to run it again. Can I probably shave a few seconds off? Of course. Am I going to? Probably not. We're then going to have another event after that. So for this one, you can use any hypercar if you want. For me, though, guys, I looked at this. We all do know what the entire leaderboard's going to be, man. The Bugatti Gendo Dici and most likely the Koenigsegg Agera with some other vehicles thrown in there here and there. For me, I did end up using a Lamborghini Countach. Is it the best choice? No. Is it going to be better than the Agera R or the lovely Bugatti? No. But you can also run this thing because it is going to be decently quick on the straightaway. Now, the funny part is, if you're not going to be running a chemist, guys, you're easily going to be slower than every other vehicle in basically every single way, because you can't hold the speed as great, because you're not only going to have as much nitrous, but you're also not going to have the power from the chemists that they're pure and stuff. So yeah, if you want to be like me and kind of give yourself a crutch on the events, then go for it. It kind of makes it more entertaining. Are you going to be breaking records? Probably not, but at least the Koenigsegg is probably going to be the best car. Shocking, I know the Agera R is that great. But try out the Countach if you guys want to mess around with the event. Is it the best car again? Probably not, but at least it is going to be usable. Besides that, the next event, you will have to use the Jesko in this one, guys. I wouldn't say it was going to be the best run because, again, not using a regular chemist set is definitely going to make you slower. Got around 2 minutes and 14 seconds kind of casually doing the race, so I would say some of the events in this summit aren't going to be that terrible. We're then going to have the next one here, no compromises. For this, you can use a Koenigsegg of your choice. And looking at the leaderboard, which Koenigsegg is used more than basically anything? It's probably going to be the Agera. You can also run the Jesko as well, guys. At least I did anyway. I saw that everyone's basically running the Agera and stuff. So I did want to mix it up a bit. The Jesko is easily going to be good enough. Are you going to be faster than the Agera R? Well, in some areas, probably not. But this car can easily hold its own in this event without a doubt in my mind. It's legit pretty dang impressive, to be honest. We're then going to have to use the Agera R in the next event, which I wouldn't say is that shocking. This is also going to be one of the Electric Odyssey races, so you're going to have to gain nitro in it by going over the purple road thing there. So keep that in mind, guys. You can basically map it out. Use your nitrous when you pretty much have to, being able to get faster, lining it up for the next one. I wouldn't recommend using the nitro in the purple road, like get the nitrous all the way up and then use the nitrous in a good area. That way you can be as fast as possible. Got around 1 minute and 50 seconds, basically casually doing that event. The last one over here, though, is also going to be a Koenigsegg, so you can use any of them. For this, guys, again, I would say the Jesko or also the Agera is going to be the greatest option, at least I think so. The Jesko, for me, really is going to be a fun car to run because it's good enough to easily keep up on the events, and not using a score breaker or like any of the part sets in this summit definitely is going to make it more difficult. Like, for example, the highway event here in the Jesko. If you guys are going to be like me running a regular loot digger set, then yeah, you're probably not going to be as quick as something like a nitro chemist, which again does make sense. I mean, that's not only going to give you more nitrous, but more power, so you can hold a top speed easier. So yeah, you're easily going to be breaking a lot of speed with that, and if you're not going to be running it, and you're going to be like me, still getting around 3 minutes running no part set or pro settings, I feel like that's not all that terrible. Besides that, though, this summit is going to be fairly straightforward, basically focusing on hypercars, and mainly the Koenigseggs for that matter. If you guys do have any questions, let me know in the comments below. The reward this week is probably not going to be all that great, but at least you can jump on, get the entire summit done in around 45 minutes to an hour, and then easily move on to something else. Besides that, let's jump right into this. go!